Я думал, намного лучше это все будет. Сколько раз сюда ходил, было намного лучше. Но на этот раз как-то не удалось. Во-первых, народу мало, музыка не очень.
А что за направление?
А?
Что за направление?
Направление? Какое направление?
Что за направление музыки играет там?
And that's how Bitcoin is reacting to the news of BlackRock filing for an ETF. Welcome everyone to today's show. My name is Wasim. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are joining us from the world today. And today's Friday. We've got some big news of what's been happening over the past week in crypto. Bitcoin has been up over 11% in the last 24 hours. It's gone over $30,000 again. It hasn't done that in over a month. It hasn't done that since the 19th of April. And today is the 23rd of June. So exciting times ahead for crypto. So we're going to go in and start looking at all the different breaking news in terms of news, Twitter, market watch, and adoption highlights. So without any further ado, let's get started. Thank you to everyone that's joining us. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out any of our live streams, I should say. All right, so let's bring this up. Okay, first up, we've got Bitcoin soars past $30,000 following BlackRock's and Invesco's ETF application. So Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market cap, has experienced sudden surge, breaking above $30,000. $30,000 price point for the first time since April 19. You can see here the chart. Bitcoin is going on a run at the moment. So this is in the past. Can't see the view. I think this is in the past week or so, or no, the past 24 hours maybe. Also looking at this, doesn't say. The notable increase comes on the heels of significant movement in the crypto investment sphere, particularly revolving around exchange traded funds fighting by financial heavyweight BlackRock and Invesco. So last week, asset management giant BlackRock filed an application for what would be the first ever spot Bitcoin ETF in the US, despite some skepticism from leading analysts. And the world's cryptocurrency is now about 30,300. I think it's just under 30,000 right now. Now, we've been talking about institutions coming in. The last bull run, it was massive. Institutions coming, and they never really did. I mean, you had a couple of the only real institution was MicroStrategy by Michael Saylor. That was the only big real institution that came in and adopted Bitcoin. A few others came out, said they've got Bitcoin, but no real big institutions. Now we've got BlackRock, which is the largest institution in the world with over $10 trillion of assets under management, coming in and fighting for a Bitcoin ETF. Now you've got to understand that BlackRock has a history of 500 or over 500 to 1. So over 500 ETFs that they've applied for, only one of them has been rejected. So they've got a pretty good chance of getting this. And if they do, there's going to be lots of money coming into Bitcoin. Next up, we've got crypto firm Ripple gets in principal payment license in Singapore. Now, why is this important? The reason why this is important is because Ripple, as you guys know, has been fighting against the SEC, and they're doing that. SEC has basically sued them, saying that they're a security, but Ripple's still pushing forward across the world, especially in Asia. If you have been watching this show for a little while, you would know that we spoke a couple of times about Ripple with Thailand, with Philippines, with Japan, all the different deals that they're doing to help remittance across borders. And now they've got a license in Singapore. Singapore is now a mega city that is really becoming a financial hub. A lot of the world's money flows through Singapore. So they're becoming a very strong financial hub, and they're crypto friendly. So they're attracting a lot of blockchain and crypto businesses. And now Ripple has actually doubled their headcount in Singapore over the past 12 months or so. Now, this is great news because it does solidify XRP. It is now trading over 50 cents right now. And it basically, XRP is like a bridge. So it's a bridge between currencies, which then tokenizes the currency and sends it through, allows for money to go through much, much faster, and really overcomes. And it's a real powerhouse versus the SWIFT system. Last in the news highlights, we've got US House Committee to vote on crypto stablecoin legislation in July. So they didn't go into too much detail of what it actually is, but there are two new proposed laws in the second week of July, which the House Financial Service Committee Chair Patrick McHenry told his panel this morning that he plans to hold a session on debating, changing, and likely advancing legislation that would create more distinct pathways for digital assets to transition from security investments to commodities. So with lower reporting and regulatory requirements, along with other market structures related provisions. So they're looking at moving. This is good news because it actually goes against the SEC. And if this does go through and more crypto does become a commodity than a security, then the SEC won't have a big job won't be able to go after crypto the way they're going after it right now. All right, moving over to MarketWatch, guys, and let's have a look what's going on here with the crypto bubbles. We're seeing a sea of green right now. Like there's a lot of green happening. A lot of tokens are up 10, 12, 40%, 50%. Pepe's up 70%. Now, don't forget, guys, only a couple of weeks ago it was down almost 80% almost every day. So this 70% isn't huge, depending on how much money you've got in there, if you have any money. But we're seeing a lot of tokens, and Bitcoin is up 17.6% in the last week, I should say. Looking at the crypto coin 360, we see Bitcoin just under 30,000 right now. It's down about 0.51%, so 0.5%. ETH is up to about $1,800. BNB is $242, and XRP just under 50 cents. Cardano is also there, but I can't see it. We've got this thing here. Cardano is at 29 cents right now. It's taking a bit of a bashing. However, where I saw an article saying that Cardano is about to approach its 1% dominance, which is pretty good for Cardano. Looking at the fear and greed index, we are no longer in neutral, guys. We are back in greed at 65%. We've been like that for a couple of days now, where the market sentiment is starting to come back into the positive. Moving over to our Twitter highlights, we've got from Pompiliano. He says that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said today we need higher interest rates to get inflation back to 2%. True-flation, which shows higher inflation than the CPI measured in the last years, now says inflation is almost back to 2% already. Hard to make good decisions with bad data. So what he's talking about here is you got the Fed Reserve or the government saying that the inflation is at 4%, while you've got true-flation saying the inflation is at 2.4%. So there's a lot of confusion in the market. What is the true inflation numbers? Do we go with the government, or do we go with true inflation or true-flation? And we all know that the government's measuring stick is being manipulated over the years to reduce the inflation. So we'll see what happens when the real numbers come out, if they ever do. Lark Davis, and he says crypto appears to have staying power as an asset class. This was just said by Jerome Powell, the chief of the Fed. So as you guys know, the Fed has been quite anti-crypto. But now they start to change their tune, and some of the comments was like, well, that's because BlackRock is coming in, the big institutions are coming in, Invesco is coming in. So as these guys start coming in, these guys have good connections usually with regulators, and they've got good relationships with them. So this is probably one of the reasons why they start to change their stance on crypto. This is good, especially as we're coming into the bull run, we're coming into the Bitcoin halving. I hope you're all learning and watching what's happening right now. That during the bear market, a lot of FUD comes out, a lot of negative news. But as we start coming to the bull run, they start to change their tune. That's because they're buying. You've got to do what they do, not as they say. Do as they do, not as they say. I'm about to show you guys why I say this in a few moments. Next up in our Twitter highlights, we have what's going on here. We've got the Bitcoin therapist. And he's coming in, I'm trying to remember what this one was. Oh, yes, that's right. So Nassim Nicholas Taleb says that Bitcoin is bad and central banking is good because the Federal Reserve is transparent, the USD system can be influenced. We know what's going on. 0 to 10, how much you agree with him? So, look, my personal opinion obviously is completely the opposite. We are with the Federal Reserve. We don't know what's going on. It's a centralized system. It's behind closed doors. He's right. They can influence it, so the system can be influenced, which means they can print more money, reduce the amount of money. They influence the markets all the time and cause major market moves. Moving over to adoption highlights, guys, we have a lot of news when it comes to adoption today. We actually have one of the largest banks in France that has about $4.5 trillion under assets now applying and getting a service license to actually provide crypto custody services to their customers. So the headline says Credit Agricole's CACEIS, I don't know how to say that, registers in France as a crypto custody service provider. Paris, June 2022. The asset servicing business owner by Credit Agricole and Santander has registered with France markets regulator AMF to provide custody services for digital assets such as cryptocurrency. The company registered as a digital asset provider on June 20th, adding major traditional financial services group to the growing number of crypto companies registering by the French watchdog. France has been supportive of the nascent industry. What's nascent? I don't know what that is. And was the first major European country to grant registration to the world's biggest crypto exchange, Binance. So this is good news. France is becoming very crypto friendly. Even though their president, I don't like their president, but he's changing his tune lately. But these guys, they got $4.5 trillion in assets under custody, and they also own 69.5% stake in Santander. This is big news because if a bank starts providing custodial services for people, it's going to allow some people who are usually on the fence to have more trust in Bitcoin and Validator, and they probably will buy Bitcoin through these banks. Personally, I would never ever buy any crypto through a bank or let any bank hold my crypto. I don't trust banks. I never have. I never will. And I personally, and what we advise and what we teach is to control your own crypto. Have it in your own wallet, under your own control, and you know what's going on with it. Next up, we've got Citadels Securities, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab himself back EDX exchange launches. So EDX Markets, a new cryptocurrency exchange backed by Citadels Securities, Fidelity Investments, and Charles Schwab has quietly entered the market, aiming to attract brokers and investors interested in digital assets. The exchange was yet to announce its official launch, operates in a non-custodial capacity, meaning it does not handle customers' digital assets directly. Instead, it serves a marketplace where firms can execute trades. This eliminates the risk of bank run style failings in the industry witnessed in 2022 with FTX, Celsius, and others. The development comes just as an American exchange, Coinbase, and worldwide exchange Binance faces lawsuits from the US SEC. So what they're saying here is, while this is happening, while these exchanges like Coinbase and Binance are facing regulatory challenges with the SEC, these large institutions, Citadel, Fidelity, and even Charles Schwab himself, Mr. Evil, have actually backed this digital asset or cryptocurrency exchange because they see that there is a room for them to sweep in and take some of the market share. So you can see if they've gone after two large exchanges, trying to reduce their market share, do all the FUD, get people away from them, then they come in and launch a product to get more people in. You can see the manipulation that's happening right there in your own eyes. You can't make this up, guys. These guys are manipulating the market so they can buy in cheap. We should be taking advantage while things are cheap to be buying. You should be staking. I'm staking sats right now. And right now, if you believe in Bitcoin, that's what we believe you should be doing. Last but not least, Binance boosts Bitcoin Lightning Network with promised integration. So Binance confirms it will add Bitcoin Lightning Network to its platform, but there's still some work to be done. So this is big news because, if you guys don't know what the Lightning Network is, the Lightning Network is a layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin that allows something like millions of transactions a second. The problem has been is with Bitcoin, you can only do like 7 to 10 transactions a second, while Visa does 65,000 transactions a second. So when it comes to processing transactions on Bitcoin, there's a lot of high demand, and as more adoption comes in, you start to see Bitcoin network lag. The Lightning Network goes on top of that and makes it very, very fast because it does the transactions much faster, and then places them on the blockchain. So it allows for faster transactions and allows for a lot more transactions. So it can do just 7 to 10. Okay, so Bitcoin can do 7 to 10 transactions per second, while the Lightning Network can do millions of transactions per second, which is much bigger than the 65,000 transactions per second by Visa, for example. And this is big news because the Lightning Network is probably going to be the best way for Bitcoin to gain more global adoption as more and more people start to realize how to use Bitcoin, and it can be fast and low fees. So this is big news. However, Binance did say that they're still working on it. There's still some more tech plays that they've got to do before it becomes ready to be able to be launched into the market. They did pause transactions twice a few months ago as they were working on this, and now it's come to light to see why they stopped withdrawals. All right, guys, that's it from me. And before I go, I will remind you of the Future of Money event that we have. I do have the link right at the bottom of the screen, breakoutnow.co/future of money. So please register for that. It's going to be on the 3rd of August. If you use money and you want to understand what the future holds for your money, this event is not to be missed. We're going to cover everything that you need to know about money, about the history of money, about where money is going, the different types of currencies, where digital currencies come in, where gold comes in, where fiat comes in. We're going to cover all of that and give you guys an opportunity to get a true understanding of what's happening around us in the world today. That's it for me, guys. I wish you an amazing, amazing weekend, and look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. That's all. Peace out. And as always, stay crypto.